Okay, good morning everyone. Let's begin with your doubts. So if you have any doubts in AS19, please post that. We begin with them. Let's begin with your doubts. So if you have any doubts, request you to post them. We begin with your doubts and then we proceed. Okay, I have one doubt on page number 137. Let's go to page number 137 then. On page number 137. It says it is the accounting treatment given for cases where fair market value is less than carrying amount. And in case 1, so fair market value, case 1. Okay, that is not equal to that actually is not equal to, that is sale value if it is equal to the fair value. Yes, so what they are trying to say is, okay, Spru, I have got your doubt. What they are trying to say is that if your fair market, they are assuming that fair market value will be exceeding the WDV. So in case if fair market value and sale value are the same, which means are you exceeding the limit of the fair value? You're not exceeding, which means whenever fair value is in excess of WDV and your sale value is also in excess of WDV, you will always have a profit. So that is how they have tried to explain in the institute study material. However, we have not followed that method. What we have followed is that we look at all the three: sale value, fair market value, and then the WDV, and then we take a decision. So what they are trying to say is वो assumption ऐसा कर रहे हैं कि आपकी WDV से fair value तो ज़्यादा ही होगा और आपका fair value और sale value same है, मतलब आप fair value की limit exceed नहीं कर रहे हैं. क्योंकि आप fair value की limit exceed नहीं कर रहे हैं और आपका सेल वैल्यू WDV से ज्यादा है, आपको प्रॉफिट या लॉस जो भी आएगा दैट वी विल रिकॉग्नाइज इमीडिएटली, राइट. सो जस्ट इन केस, लेट अस टेक वन मोर एग्जांपल. Just in case your fair market value is lesser than your WDV and your sale value and fair value is the same. Let's take that example so that you can understand it properly. Okay, pay attention over here. I am saying sale value, fair market value, WDV. ध्यान देना, केस वन, इसको 100 लेते हैं, इसको 100 लेते हैं, तो आगे आपका फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू एंड सेल वैल्यू इज द सेम. अब मान लो आपका WDV 80 है. स्प्रूआ ऑन द चैट बॉक्स, प्रॉफिट और लॉस on the chat box, is it profit or loss? Profit. What will you do? Will you recognize immediately? Will you recognize immediately? Yes. Okay, now tell me, is your fair value equal to the sale value? Yes. Will you recognize the loss immediately? Yes. Condition satisfied. Right. Now pay attention on the second case. Suppose the WDV over here is 120. Now tell me, profit or loss? Profit or loss? Loss. Will you recognize immediately? Okay, now you get it. Are you understanding the concept now? Sale value is equal to the fair market value. Right? Are you now clear with this? As you can see, fair market value and sale value is exactly the same. However, still we are recognizing that immediately. Right? So, Spruha, please check and tell me if this clears your doubt. Okay. By the time you reply, let me go to another question. It says question number 7. Finance charge in each year. Explain again. Page number 141. Okay. Everyone on page number 141. Finance charges. Okay. What is the meaning of finance charge? The finance charge is nothing but the charge that the lesser the leasee will have to pay to obtain the asset on lease. That is a finance charge. Now, finance charge will always be on the outstanding amount. So, finance charge is always on the outstanding amount. Since it is always on the outstanding amount, you every year have to check how much principal amount you have repaid. Whatever principal amount you have repaid, that you will deduct and you will every time get a new opening balance. On that new outstanding balance, every time you will have to charge the finance charges. So if you look at the question, I'll open the solution as well for you. So if you look at this solution at the beginning of the year your value was 699,054, जिस पे हमने इंटरेस्ट कैलकुलेट किया 15%. तो हमको पहले साल में कितना फाइनेंस चार्ज पे करना पड़ा? 104,858. लीज रेंटल, लेकिन उसके सामने हमने 3 लाख पे किए. सो 195,142 इज माय प्रिंसिपल रीपेमेंट व्हिच विल रिड्यूस माय लायबिलिटी टू 5,03,912. Then again on this I calculate 15%. 75,586. On that 3 lakh rupees is my lease rental. So how much am I repaying? 224,413. What am I left out with? 279,490. And similarly in the last year you will pay 41,924.82. So they have asked you finance charge आप कितना पे करने वाले हो? फाइनेंस चार्ज है 15%, लेकिन 15% हर बार कैलकुलेट किया जाता है ओपनिंग बैलेंस पे, जो इस क्वेश्चन में हर बार चेंज हो रहा है. So this is your concept of finance charge, right? I hope that is clear to you and that solves your doubt. Hope that solves your doubt. Okay, after that, let me take the next doubt. If this is solved, the next doubt says, what if the lessee defaulted in making payment of a special asset? What is to be only which is to be only used by the lessee? Would we cancel the agreement? Usually, you do not cancel the agreement. Such agreements are enforceable in court of law, so you can take them to the court of law and then you can fight a case and recover your money. Right? So, Mayur, I hope that solves your doubt. These cases usually you do not cancel. These are enforceable in the court of law. Okay, okay. The next doubt, let me check that. Can we recover the interest? Of course, you can recover the interest. So the 21423, the 21423 amount that you get at the end is nothing but the residual value that is remaining in your liability. That residual value you will be recovering. So that for the lessee will be your recoverable. So this amount will be your receivable. Right? I hope that solves your doubt. I have one more doubt which says in question number 7, what is more advisable, to ignore the rounding of values or we have to round up, because there is much difference in the answer. Now, it is suggested in the exam that you always round it off. So you can round it off. Anyways, the examiner will not focus on rounding off. The examiner will focus on the concept. So if your concept is right, does not matter. However, the direct answer to your question is that if you round it off, it is better. You come to one value. And do mention in the note that we have rounded off. So there will be slight difference, and that difference is only because of the rounding off. Okay, so I hope, Shifa, that solves your doubt as well. Let me just check if there is any more. If there are any more doubts, let me just check that. And then we proceed to the last question of the standard. Okay, I think we are done with all the doubts. Now, before I proceed, today again I'm going to begin a new standard after AS 19. But before that, I want to understand from you that are you comfortable with this method of AS that we are doing? Are you all comfortable? Are you all able to revise? Are you all able to revise? Okay, I want everyone's views on this. Are you able to revise? Are you comfortable with this method? Yes or no? Okay, since you all are comfortable and everything is fine, let's proceed. Just in case if there is any problem, any doubt, please get back to me so that I can take care of the same. Right now, let's go to the last question of this accounting standard, which is question number. Let me check it over here, which is your question number 17. Come to question number 17. Come to question number 17. Okay, mark this question very important. Last day revision question. Question number 17. Question number 17. Mark this very important. Last day revision question. You have question number 17, which I guess is on page number 150. Question number 17, page number 150. Okay, let's begin with the question. Let's understand the question carefully. It says Sun Limited wishes to obtain a machine costing rupees 30 lakhs by way of lease. तो कितने का machine हमको lease पे लेना है? 30 lakhs का. The effective life of the machine is 14 years, but the company requires it only for the first 5 years. Quickly, everyone on your chat box, does it cover the major part of the useful life of the asset? Yes or no? Is it covering the major part of the useful life of the asset? Yes or no? Does it cover major part of the useful life of the asset? Not at all. It does not cover the major part of the useful life of the asset. Since it does not cover major part of the useful life of the asset, then this is definitely not finance lease. Okay, let's go ahead. But the company requires it only for the first 5 years. It enters into an agreement with Star Limited for a lease rental of rupees 3 lakhs per annum, payable in arrears at interest rate implicit of 15%. So what's your interest rate implicit? 15%. The chief accountant of Suraj Limited is not sure about the treatment of the lease rentals. Why is he not sure? Because they are not able to take a decision whether it is finance or operating lease, and seeks your advice. Use annuity factor at 15% for 3 years at 3.36. Okay, so let's quickly revise the question and then we begin solving it. What is the value of the asset? It is costing you rupees 30 lakhs. The effective life is 14 years, but we are using it only for the first 5 years. It has entered into a lease agreement and the lease rental per annum is 3 lakhs. The IRR given in the question is 15%. The chief accountant of Suraj Limited is not sure about the treatment, so we will have to suggest the treatment. So quickly, let's solve, and you all solve along with me. Put your first statement. As per accounting standard 19, leases, determination of nature of lease. Put your first statement. Ensure you have a notebook and you have a pen and you have a calculator. You will prepare systematic formats wherever needed. Solve along with me. Put your first statement. Put your first statement. As per accounting standard 19 leases. Okay, let's begin. Everyone on your chat box, tell me, does the question tell you anywhere that the ownership will transfer from lessor to leasee at the end of lease term? Does the question anywhere tell you that the ownership will transfer from lessor to leasee at the end of the lease term? Yes or no? On your chat box, everyone. Does it say that the ownership will transfer from lessor to leasee at the end of the lease term? No. So ownership does not transfer from lessor to leasee. So if the ownership does not transfer from lessor to leasee, can we call it finance lease? You cannot call it finance lease. So let's put our first condition. Ownership does not transfer from lessor to leasee at the end of the lease tenure. Copy this. Ownership does not transfer from lessor to leasee at the end of the lease tenure. Ownership does not transfer from lessor to leasee at the end of the lease tenure. Okay, everyone again on your chat box, tell me, does the question anywhere tell you that buying option is available and it is reasonably certain that the option will be exercised? Does the question anywhere tell you that buying option is available and it is reasonably certain that the option will be exercised? Everyone on your chat box quickly, yes or no? Is buying option available in the question? Is it reasonably certain that the option will be exercised? What do you say? Read the question and on your chat box, everyone. Is buying option available in the question? Not available in the question. So buying option is not available. If buying option is not available, is it a finance lease? Yes or no? Is it a finance lease? It is not a finance lease. So looking at the first two conditions, the given question is not a finance lease. Looking at the first two conditions, the given question is not a finance lease. Okay. Does the question anywhere tell you that the asset is of a specialized nature? Look at the question and tell me. Does the question anywhere tell you that the asset is of a specialized nature? Does it anywhere tell you that the asset is of a specialized nature? No, it does not say. If the asset is not of a specialized nature, is it a finance lease? Is it a finance lease? Of course, it is not a finance lease. So I will put my third condition. Leased asset is not of a specialized nature. Put that point. Leased asset is not of a specialized nature. Leased asset is not of a specialized nature. Okay, let's go to the next one then. Does the question anywhere tell you, understand my question, does the question anywhere tell you that the lease is non-cancelable? Does the question anywhere tell you that the lease is non-cancelable? ऐसा कहीं दिया हुआ है question में कि lease is non-cancelable? It is not given. So lease is not non-cancelable. So lease is not non-cancelable. Put that point over there. Lease is not non-cancelable. In this case, lease is not non-cancelable. Okay, let's go to the next one then. Everyone on your chat box. What is the lease tenure in the question? What is the lease tenure in the question? Everyone on your chat box, read the question and tell me. What is the lease tenure in the question? 5 years. Okay, very good. The lease tenure in the question is 5 years. What is the useful life of the asset in the question? Useful life of the asset in the question is 14 years. So lease tenure is 5 years, useful life is 14 years. Let's calculate the percentage. 5 divided by 14 into 100. You have 5 divided by 14 into 100. You get 36%. How much do you get? How much percentage do you get? Calculate. How much percentage do you get? You get 36%, or you get, let's put the formula again, 5 by 14 into 100. You get 35.71. 35.71. Tell me, if it is 35.71, yes or no on your chat box. Does lease tenure cover major part of the useful life of the asset? No. So let's put over here, lease tenure does not cover major part of the useful life of the asset. Lease tenure does not cover major part of the useful life of the asset. Put that properly. Put over there, lease tenure does not cover major part of the useful life of the asset. Okay, come to the last one. Present value of MLP covers substantial portion of fair value of the asset. Now, this is something that we will have to calculate. So let's go to working note 1. In working note 1, you will prepare this format. So before I go to the next one, leave 3 or 4 lines. In fact, do one thing. Leave 7 to 8 lines. Don't leave only 3 or 4 lines. Leave 7 to 8 lines. And then prepare this format for working note 1. Then prepare this format for working note 1. Copy this down properly. Okay, let's proceed then. You have now look at the question and tell me, in order to calculate present value of MLP, you need guaranteed residual value and you need the lease rent agreed. On your chat box, do you have the lease rent agreed? Do you have the lease rent agreed? Yes. How much is your lease rent agreed in the question? How much is your lease rent agreed in the question? 3 lakhs. You get 10 lakh 8,000. You get 10 lakh 8,000. Do you have the guaranteed residual value in the question? Please check. Do you have guaranteed residual value in the question? Do you have guaranteed residual value in the question? No. So we will leave that. Let's make the total. Let's put our total. Our total comes to, yes, so annuity factor 3 lakhs जो दिया हुआ है, that is the same thing that I have used. The annuity factor for 3 years is how much? Khushi, if you can write it on the chat box. For how much is the annuity factor for 3 years in the question? How much is the annuity factor for 3 years in the question? What you're saying is correct. Annuity factor is given, and we have also used the same. For 3 years, I can't see that. Wait, let me open the question for you. Here it is given annuity factor. Annuity factor, let me see. This is not 3 years. This is actually 5 years. There's a mistake over there. It is for 5 years. So if you calculate 1 divided by 1.15 for 5 years, you will get 3.36. So this is for 5 years, not for 3 years. See, if you look at the solution, we have given year 1 to year 5. So that is just a typing error over there. Year 1 to year 5, we have taken 3.36. So it is the same. The only mistake is rather than 3 over here, it has to be 5. Right, I hope that is now clear. I hope that is now absolutely clear to you. Let me know so that I can proceed with the question. Okay, perfect. Let's proceed then. You have based on 3 lakhs, 10 lakh, 8,000. Okay, let's calculate. Present value of MLP is 10 lakh. Present value of MLP 10 lakh 8,000. Then you have fair value of the asset. Can you look at the question and help me out? What is the fair value of the asset? What is your fair value of the asset in the question? What is your fair value of the asset in the question? 30 lakhs. Let's calculate percentage of present value of MLP covering the fair value of the asset. Let's calculate that. 10 lakh 8,000 divided by 30 lakhs into 100. How much do you get? What's the percentage that you get? 10 lakh 8,000 divided by 30 lakhs into 100. How much percentage do you get? Everyone gets 33.6. Okay. Can someone tell me on the chat box, do we cover substantial portion of the fair value of the asset? Are we covering substantial portion of the fair value of the asset? No. Which means for the first time, all 6 conditions are not satisfied. Do mention over here, fair value of MLP does not cover substantial portion of the fair value of the asset. Do write this statement. Present value of MLP does not cover substantial portion of the fair value of the asset. For the first time in accounting standard 19, all 6 conditions are not satisfied. On your chat box, everyone, if all 6 conditions are not getting satisfied, then what is the nature of lease in this question? If all 6 conditions are not getting satisfied, it is an operating lease. So let's put it over here. Since all the assets, since all the 6 conditions are not satisfied in the given case, the lease is an operating lease. 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 Okay, can someone tell me on the chat box, how is lease rent or how are lease rentals in operating lease recognized in the books of accounts? How are lease rentals in operating lease recognized in the books of accounts? Sorry. On straight line basis? Okay, perfect. So it will be on straight line basis. So let's put our last statement. Lease rentals shall be recognized as an expense in the profit and loss account on SLM basis unless any other systematic basis is more representative of the use of the asset. So for the first time in this question, you had all 6 conditions not getting satisfied. Since all 6 conditions were not getting satisfied in this question, we decided to opt for operating lease, and then we suggested the treatment that lease rental shall be recognized as an expense. Why did I write expense? Because they have asked you Sun Limited wishes to obtain the asset on lease, and the chief accountant of Sun Limited, it is not Suraj Limited, it is Sun Limited, is not sure. So you have to recommend to Sun Limited. Since you are recommending to Sun Limited is the leasee, so you take the viewpoint of the leasee. I am again repeating. In the question, you have to take the viewpoint of the leasee, that is Sun Limited. How did I come to know about it? Because the question says, make this small correction. The question says the chief accountant of Sun Limited is not sure about the treatment of lease rentals and seeks your advice. So how will you treat the lease rentals in this case? In this case, the lease rentals will be taken at a straight line basis unless any other systematic method of allocation is more representative of the use of the asset. Okay, quickly on your chat box. Are you clear with this? Do you want me to repeat any concept? Quickly check. Are you clear with this? Do you want me to repeat any concept? And I request each one of you to reply so that I understand, and then I can proceed. And let me tell you one more thing. The reason why I keep emphasizing is this standard is absolutely important. You can expect one question in November 20 from this accounting standard. So please ensure that you are absolutely and thoroughly clear with the concepts that I'm telling you. Right, in both the subjects, it is very important that you understand, because now the standards that we will be doing will be of advanced level, plus they are 100% practical standards. So it is important you practice, it is important you understand. So make sure you're absolutely clear. If you feel there is any topic I must repeat, please tell me, I will repeat. So along with you, that topic I will also be in a position to revise. तो आप लोगों की वजह से मेरा भी revision हो जाएगा. So I recommend you to tell me if there is any topic that you want me to repeat. Okay, I have one doubt which I am taking. It is on page 1. Come to the first question, which is on page number 138. Come to page 138. The doubt says, please explain at below market price expected to be used in the last fourth line of question 1A. Okay, I'm reading that question to you. If the sales, I'm reading the solution to you. If the sale price is below the fair value, any profit or loss should be recognized immediately, except that if loss is compensated by future lease payments at below market price, it should be deferred and amortized in the proportion of the lease rentals over the period on which the asset is expected to be used. Okay, dhyan dena. I'll give you an example over here. Say for example, your value of the asset, say for example, your sale value is 100, your WDV is 150. Tell me, gain or loss? I think it is whose doubt? It is Spruha's doubt. Okay. Spruha, please put it on the chat box. Gain or loss? Loss. Okay. अब आप वो सेंटेंस पढ़िए. जो रूल आप समझना चाहते हैं वो रूल कब अप्लाई होगा? जब क्वेश्चन में लॉस है. यू अग्री विथ मी? यस और नो? जो रूल आप समझना चाहते हैं वो तभी अप्लाई होगा जब क्वेश्चन में लॉस है, और हमारे एग्जाम्पल में लॉस है. अब देखिए, आपने और मैंने एक अग्रीमेंट किया है जिसमें आप कौन है? You are the buyer and I am the seller. ध्यान देना, you are the buyer, I am the seller. I am selling to you, but I am telling you कि मैडम मैं आपको लॉस में बेच रहा हूँ, 50 रुपीज का लॉस है, लेकिन एक्चुअली लॉस नहीं है. मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं आपको ऐसा कह रहा हूँ कि मैडम वैल्यू एक्चुअली कितनी है? 180 है, लेकिन अभी आप ऐसा ही दिखाओ कि मैंने आपको 100 में बेचा है, ताकि मैं बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में ये लॉस रिकॉर्ड कर सकूं. जब हम आगे जाएंगे तब आगे जाके मैं कैसे भी आपसे 80 रुपीज रिकवर कर लूंगा। रिकवर कैसे करूंगा? आपसे कोई सर्विस में फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट ले लूंगा, क्योंकि ऐसा दिखेगा कि मुझे आपसे 80 रुपीज लेने। Which means, is there a loss in this question? My answer to the first question is yes. Is this loss getting compensated in the future? Yes, it is getting compensated in the future. How is it getting compensated in the future? By payments below the market price. मतलब आगे चल के, ध्यान देना, आगे चल के मान लो मैं आपसे, now Spruha is the seller and you are selling goods of rupees 100 at rupees 20 to me. Are you selling below market price? Yes, you are selling below market price. Why are you selling below market price? To compensate the loss of 80. To compensate the loss of 80. Now, is this loss compensated? Yes. In this case, they are saying you cannot take the entire loss to the profit and loss account, which means ये जो 50 rupees का loss है, this cannot go to the P&L. This cannot go to P&L. It will be deferred and amortized. Right? I hope this concept is now clear to you. Which means if I have to summarize it for you, it means कि मान लो आज आपको सेल एंड लीज बैक में लॉस हुआ है, आप क्वेश्चन में चेक करेंगे क्या ये लॉस फ्यूचर में कॉम्पेंसेट हो रहा है। अगर हो रहा है तो यू कैन नॉट चार्ज दैट लॉस टू P&L. अगर नहीं हो रहा, ओनली देन यू कैन चार्ज दैट लॉस टू द प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट. Right? So Spruha, I hope that doubt is solved. Okay, now your doubt says, but if we are going to be compensated, why to recognize the loss? So you are getting compensated because you want to recognize the loss today. So please understand this example. I want to show loss in books of accounts to avoid tax. That is why I am showing loss today, right? So the books of accounts tell me कि अच्छा तुम इसीलिए जानबूझ के लॉस पे बेच रहे हो ताकि तुम टैक्स अवॉइड कर सको, राइट? तो एक काम करते हैं, हम तुमको लॉस रिकॉग्नाइज करने ही नहीं देंगे. आप लॉस कब रिकॉग्नाइज करोगे? एक साथ रिकॉग्नाइज कर नहीं करोगे. यू विल डिफर एंड अमोर्टाइज दैट ओवर द लीज टेन्योर, right? So the answer to your question is you are recognizing a loss today because you want to show lesser profits, you want to avoid tax. The accounting standard board says that if you're going to do it to avoid tax, then we will not allow you to charge the entire loss today to the profit and loss account. We will allow you to defer and amortize over the lease tenure, right? I hope it is now clear. Right, do let me know if it is now clear to you. Are you sure? Are you sure this entire thing is clear to you? Okay. There is one more doubt which says on page number 136, asset is sold by entering into a finance lease. So do you want me to repeat this? Yes or no? Do you want me to repeat page number 136? Asset is sold by entering into a finance lease. So my question to you is, do you have a specific doubt or do you want me to repeat? Okay, you want me to repeat it. Okay, pay attention. It says asset is sold by asset is sold and then reobtained as finance lease. Now, if you understand the position, you are first selling the asset, so risk and reward incidental to ownership is transferred from seller to the buyer. After it is transferred from seller to the buyer, the seller obtains the same asset back from the buyer as a finance lease. Now, if you understand what happens in a finance lease, risk and reward is transferred to the leasee. Leasee is the same person who was the seller, which means पहले एक बंदे ने asset बेचा, risk and reward दे दिया, उसके बाद वही बंदे ने सामने वाले से asset वापस finance lease पे लिया. मतलब बेचने के बावजूद भी he has all the risk and reward incidental to ownership. He still has all the rights to the asset, which means अगर बेचने के बाद भी ओनरशिप मेरे पास ही रहती है, ओनरशिप ट्रांसफर नहीं होती, मतलब ये सेल ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं है. दिस इज नॉट अ सेल ट्रांजैक्शन. व्हेन इट इज नॉट अ सेल ट्रांजैक्शन, you cannot recognize the entire profit or loss. I'm using the word profit or loss, both the things I am covering. So I think, Raj, it was your doubt a couple of days back, so that also I'm addressing again, which says gain ho ya loss ho, kuch bhi ho, you cannot recognize that directly to the P&L. You will defer and amortize over the lease tenure. Why will you defer and amortize over the lease tenure? क्योंकि क्वेश्चन क्लियरली आपको बता रहा है कि पहले आपने रिस्क एंड रिवॉर्ड ट्रांसफर किया, फिर इमीडिएटली वापस ले लिया इन द फॉर्म ऑफ फाइनेंस लीज. तो लीजी होने के क्योंकि आप लीजी है, आप सेलर होने के बावजूद भी आपने असेट बेचने के बाद रिस्क एंड रिवॉर्ड ट्रांसफर नहीं की. रिस्क एंड रिवॉर्ड इज स्टिल विथ यू. That is why, since this is not a sale transaction, it does not satisfy the conditions of sale. What we decide in this case is that we will not recognize the entire profit or loss both to the profit and loss account. We will defer and amortize it over the lease tenure. Right? I hope that solves your doubt. I hope that is now clear to you. Okay. So below market price is for this. I don't think you have understood the concept. So let me explain it again to you. Please pay attention. It's a very simple concept. You will understand it right away. Please understand. मुझे fraud करना है. So मैं 100 रुपीज की चीज 80 रुपीज में बेचता हूँ. आज कितना लॉस हुआ? 20 रुपए का. ये 20 कहाँ जाएगा? P&L में. इससे क्या फायदा होगा? P&L में जाने से मेरा प्रॉफिट कम होगा. Profit will be less and tax will be less. Only to show in the books of accounts. मैं जिसको सस्ते में बेच रहा हूँ उसको मैं कह रहा हूँ कि आगे जाके अपन दोनों दोबारा एक ट्रांजैक्शन करेंगे. आज मैं आपको मार्केट प्राइस से कम में बेच के लॉस कर रहा हूँ, अगली बार आप मुझे मार्केट प्राइस से कम में बेच के लॉस करना, ताकि हमारा कॉम्पेंसेशन हो जाए. अब ध्यान देना, अगली बार क्या होगा? अगली बार 200 रुपीज का प्रोडक्ट वो मुझे 180 में बेचेगा. मतलब मुझे जो ये 20 रुपए का लॉस था, ये 20 रुपए मेरा रिकवर हो गया. राइट? मुझे उससे 20 रुपए लेने थे, मैंने उससे 20 रुपए कम लिए. क्योंकि मैंने उससे 20 रुपए कम लिए, इस केस में मुझे उससे 20 रुपए रिकवर करना है. वो उसने मुझे कैश नहीं दिया, आगे जाके उसने मुझे बिलो मार्केट प्राइस पे सेल किया. ये रहा. द टर्म बिलो मार्केट प्राइस इज फॉर दिस, दैट 200 रुपीज लेटर ऑन इज बीइंग सोल्ड एट 180. तो जो 20 रुपए का लॉस आपने पहले बेयर किया, वो अब आपका लॉस रिकवर हो गया. मतलब इज योर लॉस getting compensated in the future? Yes. This loss cannot be recognized immediately. This will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Are you understanding this? Now do you understand what is below market price for? It means आप compensate कैसे करोगे? By buying at below market price. जैसे मैंने किया, पहले मैंने 100 की चीज 80 में बेची, 20 रुपए मैंने लॉस किया. अब ये लॉस कैसे रिकवर करूंगा? उसको कहूंगा कि जब तुम आगे जाके बेचो तो मुझे तुम 200 रुपए की चीज 180 में देना. क्यों? क्योंकि मुझे अपना 20 रुपए आपसे रिकवर करना है. तो ये रिकवर हो गया. Since it is getting compensated in the future, this loss cannot be directly recognized in the profit and loss account. It will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Right. I hope that is now clear to you. If it is not, it's okay. Please ask me again. I'll explain it once again to you. Is that clear to you? Yes or no? Okay. Does anyone else have a doubt? Yes, so I gave you an example of this. So compensated by future lease payments means today I am recovering a loss. Okay, it is the same concept. The example is different. Let me take that example. The concept will still remain the same. Say for example, I have an asset of 100. I sold at 80, which means there is a loss of 20. Now again, I obtain it back on lease from you. I obtain it back on lease from you. You decide that the lease rental will be 200 rupees. Now, when you decide that the lease rental will be 200, I ask you, for how many years is this lease rent? You tell me 4 years. Now, for 4 years, what I'll tell you is You don't take 200 from me, you take only 195, which means, dhyan dena, 200 into 4, how much should I get? I should get 800, but actually I will get how much? 195 into 4. I will get 780. How much less am I getting? 80. Is this 20 compensated by lease payments? Is this compensated by lease payments? Yes. Will you treat this as a genuine sale transaction and will you recognize the loss? No. What will you do with the loss? What will you do with the loss in this case? What will you do with the loss in this case? If you will not recognize it immediately, you will defer and amortize over the lease tenure. Excellent, very good. Fine. So I hope that is now clear to you. And we are done with this. If there are no more doubts, let me quickly go back and revise the entire accounting standard. Quickly come to the summary of key points. I will look at the summary of key points and revise the entire standard with you. Just in case if I happen to miss out something, please stop me immediately and I will repeat that point for you. Okay. First, let's understand the summary of key points. What is a lease? Lease is an agreement whereby one person, the lessor, agrees to give right to use the asset to the other person known as the leasee. Right? The person who is giving the asset on lease is known as the lessor. The person who is obtaining the asset on lease is known as the leasee. And this entire agreement is known as a lease agreement. Okay. Then at the beginning of the year, you will have to take a decision. Not at the beginning of the year, sorry, at the beginning of the lease. So at the inception of the lease, you will have to take a decision whether it is finance lease or operating lease. What is finance lease? A lease that substantially transfers all the risk and reward incidental to ownership from the lessor to the leasee is known as a finance lease. Of a lease will be called as a finance lease if any one of the six conditions are satisfied. The ownership transfers from the lessor to the leasee at the end of the lease term. Buying option is available and it is reasonably certain that the option will be exercised. Third, leased asset is of a specialized nature such that only the leasee can use it. Lease is non-cancelable. Lease tenure covers major part, that is 75% of the useful life of the asset. Present value of MLP covers substantial portion of fair value of the asset. What is substantial portion? 90%. If any one of these conditions are satisfied, it will be called as a finance lease. If none of the conditions are satisfied, all six are not satisfied that we saw today in question number 17, then you will call it as an operating lease. Right? Okay. What is the accounting treatment? Second point of finance lease. If you look at the books of the leasee, in the books of leasee, it is asset as well as liability. The journal entry will be asset on lease account debit to lesser account. This journal entry, asset on lease account debit to lesser account, will be recorded at lower of fair value of the asset always given in the question or present value of MLP, whichever is lower. What is MLP? MLP is nothing but your minimum lease payments, which is lease rent agreed plus. If you take the viewpoint of the leasee, it is always only the guaranteed residual value. You will take only the guaranteed residual value, right? On the other hand, it says that any MLP will never cover repair and maintenance cost. It will never cover contingent rent. The depreciation will be charged by the leasee. By why? Because we follow the substance over form concept, and because of that, the depreciation will be taken by the leasee. And if you look at the MLP point, it says present value of MLP. So in order to find out the present value of MLP, you will always take the interest rate implicit from the viewpoint of the lessor. Now you take always from the viewpoint of the lessor. If you take the viewpoint of the lessor considers both guaranteed and unguaranteed residual value. So when you calculate IRR, you will take both guaranteed and unguaranteed residual value. If you cannot find that, the alternate choice is pre-tax incremental rate of borrowing. Right? What is your interest rate implicit? That also we have calculated. It is nothing but your interpolation formula, which is nothing but the IRR from the viewpoint of the lessor. So that is nothing but your internal rate of return. Right? So calculation of IRR is also now covered. How do you treat the direct expenses? direct expenses in the books of leasee. Since leasee is obtaining the asset and all direct expenses are capitalized to the cost of the asset as per AS10, over here also you will capitalize to the cost of the asset. On the other hand, if in the books of lessor, you will debit the profit and loss account or you will amortize over the lease tenure. So in the books of lessor, they have a choice. Either you debit to the profit and loss account or you amortize over the lease tenure, right? That brings you to the end of treatment in the books of leasing. Now, if you look at treatment in the books of lessor, for a lessor, it is sale as well as receivable because the lessor is going to sell the asset, but he's going to receive money from the leasing. So it is sale as well as receivable. In this case, the accounting entry will be leasing account debit to asset account, and this entry will be recorded at present value of GI, that is present value of gross investment. What is your present value of gross investment? Gross investment is nothing but lease rent agreed plus total residual value. What is the meaning of total residual value? It means total residual value means guaranteed and unguaranteed residual value both. Again, the discount rate to be used will be the interest rate implicit from the viewpoint of the lessor. And finally, the lessee will not charge depreciation. In this case, the lessor is the one who will, sorry, the lessor will charge no depreciation in this case because it is the lessee who has already charged depreciation in this case. Now, because the lessee has already charged depreciation, you cannot have depreciation two times on one asset. So only the lessee will charge depreciation. The lessor will not charge any amount of depreciation. The next point says unearned finance income, also a part of the books of the lessor. So income is always from the viewpoint of the lessor. The lessor wants to know that if I calculate plainly how much amount should I receive, against that the value of that amount has received because of time value of money, and because the value has received, to what extent it has received, that is nothing but the unearned finance income. मान लो हमको 100 रुपीज मिलना चाहिए था लेकिन प्रेजेंट वैल्यू के बाद 80 रुपीज ही मिलता है, विच मीन्स पैसे तो 100 मिल रहे हैं पर अब उसकी वैल्यू 80 हो गई है. सो 20 रुपीज, दैट इज 100 minus 80 is nothing but my unearned finance income. That also we have covered extensively in all the questions. This brings you to the end of the entire finance lease. Now let's go to operating lease. The one which is not a finance lease is known as an operating lease, right? How do you treat in the books, or how do you treat the operating lease? We saw that in question number 17 in the books of lessor. Since it is your income, you will recognize on SLM basis. If any other systematic allocation method is available, you will use that. And since the ownership does not transfer, only right to use transfers, the ownership remains with the lessor, and it is the lessor who will charge depreciation in this case. In the books of leasing, you will recognize lease rent as an expense on SLM basis. However, if any other systematic allocation of method is available, you will use that method, and leasing will not be the one to charge depreciation. You cannot have depreciation twice on one asset. So it is the lessor who will charge depreciation in this case and not the leasing. Then you have one common point which says direct expenses. In this case, since there is no sale, no ownership is getting transferred, no acquisition of asset, in this case you will recognize income or expense either in the profit and loss account or you will amortize over the lease tenure. So you have a choice on this. Okay, after that we come to the last point, which is sale and lease back. When the asset is sold and then again re-obtained back on lease, it is known as sale and lease back. The question is, when you obtain it back on lease, the question is whether it is finance lease or operating lease. So if you look at the question, you will come to know by reading the question whether it is finance or operating lease. Say for example, it is finance lease. So if the asset is sold and then again re-obtained on finance lease, then in this case, the at the time of sale the ownership is transferred, but when you get back the asset as finance lease, the risk and reward again comes back to the seller, which means seller now as the lessee is enjoying the rights of ownership. This is not a genuine sale transaction. In fact, this is not a sale transaction at all. Any selling profit will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. In fact, any selling loss will also be deferred and recognized over the lease tenure. Come to the next one. If you sell the asset and obtain it back on lease, and the lease is an operating lease, so you have sale of the asset and lease back as operating lease. In that case, you will always check, are we you will always check, are we exceeding the fair market value? If we are within the limits of the fair market value, any gain or loss will be directly recognized in the profit and loss account. If we are exceeding the fair market value, then you divide it into two parts. Then you have WDV minus the sale value is your genuine profit. You will transfer it to profit and loss account. Sorry, you have fair market value minus the carrying amount. That is your genuine profit. So fair market value minus the carrying amount, that's your genuine profit. That will be transferred to the profit and loss account. And fair market value minus the sale value is your artificially built up profit. You will differ and transfer over the lease, differ and amortize over the lease tenure. The concept of this point is that it is not possible that someone will give you more than the market price of a product. If that person gives, then definitely there is some kind of manipulation in the question. Then whatever you are getting above the fair market value, that portion will be deferred and amortized over the lease tenure. Whatever is beneath your fair market value, that's your genuine profit, that will go to the profit and loss account. Right, so I hope this is absolutely clear to you. If you have any more doubts, let's go to that. Right, so the formula of unearned finance income, you asked me this question yesterday and I told you that let's solve one question, and there you will exactly come to know what is the formula to be used. Now the problem is that the institute has given this formula and it is not mandatory to write the formula as well. So I would recommend that you do not get into it and ignore the formula, because the format that we have used is the suggested format of the institute and that is easy to remember. So in that case, I would recommend you to follow that. However, that is my recommendation. If you still want to have a look at the formula, what I will do today is after the lecture, I will frame the formula and send it to you on your official WhatsApp group so that everyone has access to it. And then you cross check with the formula that we have used, you will get the correct answer for that. Right, so the formula that is used is a bit complicated, so we have made things simpler and we have presented to you that manner. Plus, the manner in which I have presented to you is accepted by the institute. I have been teaching this same formula since the past 8 to 10 years, so there has been no issues. It is accepted by the institute. However, having said that, of course I will share the formula once again with you, and then you can of course cross check with the formula that you have. Right, I hope Raj that is now clear. Okay, let's come to the next doubt. We record the asset as sold in the books of the lessor in finance lease. Then what about the accounting treatment in the subsequent years? Now, accounting treatment in whose books are you talking about? In the lessor. And which lease are you talking about? Finance or operating lease or sale and lease back? Finance lease. Okay. So please understand, finance lease in the books of lessor, you do not show the asset as sold. Please understand, I'm again repeating for you. This is the basic concept of AS 90. You do not show it as a sale. But when you look at substance over form, ध्यान देना, when you look at substance over form, if you look at substance over form, it tells you कि लेसर के पास ownership नहीं रहने वाली है. क्योंकि सब्सटेंस ओवर फॉर्म आपसे ऐसा कहता है कि लेसर के पास ओनरशिप नहीं रहने वाली है. आप इस चीज में क्या करते हो, आप सबसे पहले उसको सेल ट्रांजैक्शन कंसिडर करते हो और लीजी को राइट्स देते हो. कहीं पे भी एंट्री पास नहीं करते, आप लीजी को राइट्स देते हो. राइट, अंडरस्टैंड इट स्टेप वाइज. Because you give rights to the leasee, what you do is, because you give rights to the leasee, you will then the depreciation will be charged by the leasee. That's my first explanation to you. Now coming to your question specifically, first explanation was pertaining to substance over form. Let's come to the second one. If you look at the journal entry in the books of lessor, it is sale as well as receivable. So your entry is, I'm writing over here for you. So your entry is leasee account debit to asset account. यहाँ पे आप ऐसा दिखा दो कि एसेट हमने बेच दिए, लेकिन फर्दर अकाउंटिंग ट्रीटमेंट अगर आप पूछते हैं तो लीज रेंटल तो आपका रिसीवेबल है. So then your entry will be bank account debit leasing account. So you will show then the lease rentals as your receivables over here, right? So I hope this is clear regarding the further accounting treatment or the accounting treatment in the subsequent years, right? First important point I want you to remember always is substance over form. That is why you give the right of depreciation to the lessee, and the lessor does not charge any depreciation. And because you know that the ownership will be transferred, again I am repeating, this is called finance lease, because असेट तो आप साधारण तरीके से जैसे बेचते हैं वैसे ही बेच रहे हो, लेकिन आप उसको फाइनेंसिंग अरेंजमेंट दे रहे हो। आप उसको कह रहे हो भैया सारे पैसे आप देने की जरूरत नहीं, आप मुझे लीज पेमेंट्स की तरह इंस्टॉलमेंट में देना। मतलब आप सेल तो कर ही रहे हो, लेकिन आप उसको फाइनेंसिंग अरेंजमेंट देके सेल कर रहे हो। क्योंकि आप उसको फाइनेंसिंग अरेंजमेंट देके सेल कर रहे हो, इस लीज का नाम है फाइनेंस लीज, बिकॉज इट प्रोवाइड्स यू द फाइनेंसिंग अरेंजमेंट फॉर द सेल, right? I hope that is absolutely clear to you now. Okay, since this is absolutely clear and since you have no more doubts, I think this much is sufficient uh, in terms of explaining AS19 and in terms of taking your doubts. However, you will go back and revise the entire standard today. If you have any doubts, please come back to me. I will solve those doubts for you. Do not procrastinate कि कल पूछेंगे, परसों पूछेंगे, नवंबर में बहुत टाइम है, बाद में पूछेंगे. Please, for God's sake, don't do all this. Revise it today itself, and the moment you revise it today itself, come back to me for doubts, so that whenever I take a test, you are prepared. And second important thing, when I finish my syllabus, your syllabus will also be finished at that point of time, right? Okay, well, there's one more doubt which says, and the lease rental will be equal to depreciation plus finance charge. Now, from where did you get depreciation? The lease rental, how do you calculate? The lease rental will be, you will calculate what is the amount to be recovered plus some opportunity cost, because your money is blocked, plus some profit. So in the books of leasee is the one who is obtaining the asset. So in the books of leasee, minimum lease payments is lease rent agreed. Lease rental will probably be amount that the lessor wants to recover. Please understand, amount is never decided by the lessee. Why will the lessee decide the amount? The one who buys does not decide the selling price. The one who sells decide the selling price. So the lessor will think it this way कि मुझे asset का कितना portion इनसे recover करना है, वो मेरा recovery of cost हुआ. उसके बाद मैं अपना अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट, मतलब मैं उसको उधार पे दे रहा हूँ, मैं उसको इंस्टॉलमेंट दे रहा हूँ, पर मैंने तो पैसा दे दिया है, यही पैसा मैं बैंक में डिपॉजिट करता तो कितना इंटरेस्ट मैं कमा पाता. अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट यू विल ऐड सम, एंड फाइनली यू विल ऐड योर प्रॉफिट. आफ्टर कंसिडरिंग ऑल दिस यू विल गेट योर लीज रेंट अग्रीड. आई होप दैट इज क्लियर टू यू नाउ. Okay, so once again I am repeating for you, please revise the entire AS19. If you have any doubts, please come back to me. I will solve them, but ensure that you solve all the questions at least once after solving along with me. So you have to think, you have to plan in this way, that you solve with me. When I'm solving over here, I'm solving each and every question. When I'm solving over here, you will also solve along with me. And later on, you will revise once again on the same day, right? So you will do one question twice at least on that very day, right? I hope that is clear. Right now it is 9:20, so I recommend take a 5 minutes break. We meet back at 9:25. I will close this and I will begin with I will give you a new link to join in for the new accounting standard. We will begin with accounting standard 12. So let's do government grants today. Accounting standard 12. This is the standard with which we will begin. So take a 5 minutes break and then we continue.